good to have you back here. It's about 6:20 in the p.m. here on a Saturday. It's been a cold day. In fact, it's been the coldest day of the year so far. Last night it got into the 20s. It was kind of sad. There's a beautiful Cheffalera outside my neighbor's house. Man, it was just huge. And boy, I saw that cold weather coming. I think they must have been out of town or something. I couldn't move that thing by myself. It was too heavy. But man, it had serious damage today. I hope that plant can recover. Life is fragile. You have to take it seriously because you never know when it can be snuffed out. I know when in my business, when I used to shoot news for the CBS affiliate in Savannah, WTOC, I would regularly see dead people killed by unfortunate happenstance. I can remember there was a drug war in Savannah where there were two different dealers of crack that had been selling stuff in the projects around Savannah, especially like in the Hitch Village area. And they would shoot each other with .22s. So when you would come up on the scene, you wouldn't look like they were hurt because they wouldn't bleed a lot. It wasn't like a large caliber weapon that when you see a gunshot wound like that, it would go in small and it'd come out the size of a baseball on the other side. But what a .22 shell does is it actually goes through into the body cavity and then just kind of bounces around inside and off of the rib cage. And that's what had happened to this. He'd gotten shot in kind of the lower back area, and it had gotten up into his rib cage. And I can remember when you come up on a scene and you see paramedics and they're dealing with something that's serious, like when you know, man, I need to get the camera and start rolling on this right quick, you know. I can remember this guy he was laying on the ground. He was a young black guy. The paramedics, when they're uptight or when they know it's something serious, you know, they get that very intense look about them, and their actions very manic and very intense. And the detective who was on the scene was going, "Who killed this man? Who killed you, man? Who shot you, man? Who shot you?" And the paramedics going, "Hey, keep breathing. Just keep breathing. Just keep breathing, man. Just keep breathing." And I'm rolling video on this, man, and you know, just see the guy expire right before you. I mean, just right there, you know, they pronounce him dead. And or you get sent out to do a live shot because this pickup truck was going down the road and it dropped off a ladder, okay, behind her. And so this lady, an elderly lady, driving this great big yellow Cadillac, came up onto this ladder suddenly in the road. And the lady went veering off, and she took off and over the embankment onto all this oncoming lane of traffic. And so this guy driving this pickup truck sheared off to miss it, but ended up doing a head-on collision into this concrete embankment. And so you go in there and you see this. I set up the live truck and established the signal back to the studio, and then I went to go get cover video, or what we call B-roll in the business. And I would go out and get the B-roll and then shoot the scene, then come back to the live truck and shoot that raw video back. They would edit it quickly together, and then they would have that as a cover video when the reporter did the presentation. So we would get the whole signal done and have it all in place. And some of the stuff that you would see, you know, I can remember seeing this one guy who was in this big truck, and the 18-wheeler flipped over onto its side, and the truck went down a concrete embankment under a bridge and sheared off the top half of that cab. And when I rolled up on the scene and I asked the guy in charge, one of the Department of Highway guys, if he was dead, they said, "Oh yeah." And when I rode up on it, the whole top part of the cab had been there. So you see this body, and the guy was really, really fat. So you saw these gigantic blue jeans with this big butt, and there's no top half. And now the bottom is coming out like this 8 inches of spinal cord. You know, and you think this guy was just going down the road, minding his own business. And just like when he's going down the road and all of a sudden a yellow Cadillac jumps in back and goes right at you, even though you've got your seatbelt on and you're going less than 55 miles an hour, when suddenly there's a yellow Cadillac, you have to avoid it and you're killed instantly. And when I went in and saw that little Datsun pickup that was all crunched, and down in the floorboard, I saw some children's toys. And it struck me that that was one little girl that Daddy wasn't coming home that night. When you see stuff like that, it gives you a different perspective on life. And the whole idea about when the Latin phrase carpe diem, or seize the day, see, if you've been close enough to death enough times, you no longer have a guarantee on whether I'll get tomorrow. And so you live every day as intensely as possible because there's not much time left. And even, I'm talking in the long scheme of things, I wish only the best of luck and longest years to you guys. But even if I live to be 150, you know, that's still a short amount of time, so make the most of it, amen.